What's good, YouTube? Welcome back. Thank you for clicking onto this reaction. I hope you're looking forward to it just as much as I am. If you haven't already, head over to the content creators page. That link is in the description box down below. If you haven't already and you're enjoying our content, you know what you need to do. You need to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, but we're going to jump straight into this one. We've got Subutai, Genghis's greatest general. Let's go.
Of all the generals of the Mongol Empire, none stand taller than Subutai, who led armies from China across Iran, the Caucasus, Russia.
Interesting.
Iran, the Caucasus, Russia, and into Eastern Europe. Yet Subutai remains a murky figure, with difficult to assess primary sources, providing fertile ground for all manner of myths to grow instead. Utilizing the latest scholarship and medieval materials, we will paint for you a more accurate biography of one of history's fiercest generals. Shout out to Call of War.
So this is one of Genghis's brothers, right?
Call of War is a free online word, Kings&Generals to access the game. Subutai, the most common form of his name on the internet, comes from the Chinese rendering of his name. Numerous transliterations of his name exist, but perhaps the best approximation of the Mongolian is Subutai.
Okay.
The common epithet attached to his name, Ba'atar, signifies bravery and is often translated as hero or knight.
Okay.
Subutai was born in 1176 to the Uriyangkat Mongols. Modern writers often confuse these nomadic pastoralists in the Mongolian steppe with the Turkic Uriyangkai of the forests north of Mongolia, who were reindeer herders.
Interesting.
This has resulted in the common misconception that Subutai was a Tuvan. However, the medieval sources clearly identify Subutai as a man of the steppe, whose family herded sheep in close contact with Chengis's for 5 generations, a sub-lineage of the tribe Genghis Khan belongs to. Subutai learned to ride
a sub-lineage of the same tribe.
Horse, shoot a bow, hunt and herd animals from a young age, the basic skills for steppe warfare.
Yeah.
As a young boy, he found a role model in Temujin. Around 1185, Temujin was elected as Khan of the Borjigon clan. Subutai attended this meeting, accompanied by his brother Saukan and cousin Jelma, and the young man attached himself to this rising warlord.
Smart.
In 1206,
he knew what Temujin could achieve, so he wanted to be on the right side of history.
Temujin suffered a devastating setback. Defeated in battle by his former allies, he fled to Lake Baljuna. Slowly, his forces trickled in, among them Subutai's father, Kaban, driving a flock of sheep to feed Temujin's hungry men. As described in the Yuan Shi, Kaban was captured by robbers. Subutai and his brother Saukan followed the tracks and ambushed the robbers, killing several and sending the rest fleeing.
Nice.
Their father was rescued, and they brought the sheep to Temujin.
Yeah, scorn Subutai.
This loyalty. Saukan was made a commander of 100, and Subutai was enrolled into the Keshik, the Guard. By 1206, Temujin had unified Mongolia, becoming Genghis Khan. Subutai was among those rewarded. It was not without sacrifice, as his older brother had died in the fighting against the Naiman in western Mongolia. Subutai was appointed to command a Mingan, 1,000 men.
We learned that from one of the other episodes.
Warrior was already established, and he was noted among Genghis Khan's 4 dogs of war.
Ooh, Genghis Khan's 4 dogs of war. He was one of them. That's quite a little group to be a hold of, innit? To be feared of.
Like Chengis's 4 horses, who were Genghis Khan's personal friends, the 4 dogs were the deadliest of his warriors. To paraphrase the secret history of the Mongols, the 4 horses were the men at Chengis's side, while the 4 dogs were those charging wherever the Khan pointed.
Okay.
Daring, often cruel, yet utterly loyal, the 4 dogs were Chengis's swords to wield against Asia.
Oh. I'd rather be a the dogs and the horses. That's actually so sick. That's so sick.
Service that Subutai would
I love
sell.
Genghis.
Subutai's only mention in the first years of the war in China is in 1212, when he was the first on the walls of Huanzhou. He was richly rewarded, and for his courage he was called Ba'ata. Jebe Noyan went on a long-ranging raid across the Jin Empire in 1213 through Manchuria and took one of the Jin capitals, Tungqing. Subutai had possibly accompanied him on this campaign.
Okay, so he
By
might have been there.
1216, Genghis Khan was in Mongolia dealing with rebellions, while Subutai was to accompany Chinggis' son Jochi far across the western steppes in pursuit of merchants who had fled Mongolia. This was the Mongol Empire's first great expansion west of the Altai Mountains. Before they set out, the secret history of the Mongols has Chinggis provide Subutai an iron reinforced cart for the journey.
What?
This statement may be the origin for the myth that Subutai was immensely overweight and that no single horse could carry him, requiring instead specially made carts. Such an image has no basis in the historical materials.
Why did he send him the cart then? I'm so interested as to why he sent him the cart. That's really interesting. He was one of his dogs. Yeah, I know he was one of his war dogs. I am interested to know who the other 3 of his war dogs were. Was Jebe one? Who were the other 2? We're not going to be doing Admiral Yi or Alexandra today. We'll probably be jumping on those in the next stream for you.
In 2 battles over late 1218 and early 1219, Subutai and Jochi defeated the merchants and their Kangli allies. During the long trek back to Mongolia, the ruler of the vast Quaresmian Empire, Muhammad II, intercepted them somewhere in central Kazakhstan. Jochi and Subutai informed Shah Muhammad that they had no quarrel with him, but Muhammad had come looking for a fight and drew his army up for battle. Outnumbered,
Was it a mistake?
the Mongols fought fiercely, the right wings of both armies pushing back the opposing left until darkness forced them apart. Lighting fires to make it appear they were setting up camp, the Mongols instead moved on. Still, horrified by the losses in this encounter, the Shah developed a phobia of facing the Mongols in open battle.
Oh, so the Mongols didn't want to stay. They just wanted to get out of there. So they lit the sort of fires and then hightailed it out of there. That's completely fair. I didn't realise that there was an Epic History TV video about Islam's golden age, the rise of the Abbasids. I will definitely give that a look tomorrow for you guys as well. I'm interested in that.
Jochi and Subutai returned to Chinggis in late summer 1219, when news came of the infamous Otra massacre, during which the governor of Otra murdered the merchants sent by Chinggis. The Khan immediately ordered Jebe, Jochi and Subutai to set out with Chinggis.
So is Joche the 3rd of the Dogs of War? I do also remember this from the previous episodes that we've watched.
The Quaresmian Empire. Shah Muhammad relied on city garrisons, believing the Mongols lacked siege capabilities. He was sorely mistaken.
They've picked that up by this point.
The northern frontier of Khwarezm collapsed. Muhammad fled deeper into his empire, and Chinggis Khan unleashed Jebe and Subutai after him. While Muhammad was their primary goal, as they went, they took the submission of cities. Shah Muhammad was tracked to Hamadan, where Jebe and Subutai lost his trail. We know that the Quaresmian ruler later died of pneumonia. Jebe and Subutai pinballed across the Caucasus and northwestern Iran over the next 2 years, razing and subduing cities, until mid-1222, when messengers came from Chinggis Khan with permission to attack the Kipchaks north of the Caucasus. Striking the enemy from unexpected directions was always
as the Mongols always do.
Genghis Khan, and the Kipchaks had already shown themselves as enemies by allying with the Merkits and fighting for the Khwarezm Shah. While passing north, Jebe and Subutai took the city of Shamaki. employing a particularly gruesome...
The Mongols really did just go on some absolute rampages, didn't they? Oh, Jochi was Genghis's eldest son. Thank you for pointing that out for me, guys.
tactic. To mount the walls, corpses of locals and livestock were piled into a platform. Such tactics contributed to a dread reputation designed to discourage resistance.
They made a body into a... So they made it into a slope so they could, like, walk up it. Are you being serious? Are you being serious? How many dead bodies do you need? Like you're going to have to do it at a slope. And then it's got to be sturdy enough to walk up it. Imagine you got to walk up that. Imagine that's how you're going to get to the top of the castle. You know, you got to run up some dead bodies with a shield and a sword, like stopping like the arrows. That's not sturdy. You step on an arm and it falls and you just lose your gripping face first. You imagine just got like tripping up and your face just landed next to some dead guy's face. You're just looking at some dead guy like straight into the eyes. Nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. It's making my tummy turn.
On exiting the Caucasus, they were confronted by a larger force of Alans and Kipchaks. They bribed the Kipchaks into abandoning the Alans, defeated the latter, and then attacked the unsuspecting Kipchaks, killing their most powerful leaders.
As the Mongols always do.
West under Kotjan Khan to the Rus,
Terror.
where the Khan organized an alliance between his son-in-law, Prince Mstislav of Galicia, and several other Rus princes. Modern retelling often presents the following engagement on the Kalka River as a masterfully orchestrated plan, but historian Stefan Pau questions this narrative.
Okay.
Overlooked is the lead-up to the battle, where Rus chronicles describe a Mongol general, Hamabek, being caught and killed.
Interesting.
That Hamabek is how the Rus interpreted Yamabeg, the Turkic form of Jebe's name. Jebe was the senior officer and something of a mentor to Subutai, who was now thrust for the first time into independent command thousands of kilometers from reinforcement. The famous 9-day feigned retreat which followed may therefore have been an actual retreat.
Yeah, I do remember this.
Until Subutai noticed they had strung themselves out.
They were too far and he turned around.
In May 1223, Subutai turned about and brought the full weight of his army against the leading Kipchaks, who broke. Fleeing Kipchaks collided with the Rus, breaking their formation as Mongol arrows rained upon them. The result was a massacre.
It really was. I remember watching the original video and that was an absolute massacre indeed. That's why climbing walls was always risky. Preferably the city walls would be breached. I agree, DZ. It's absolutely terrifying to think that's what you had to do. The Mongols made skull pyramids too. Timur would do the same thing in the Middle East to the same people. It's absolutely terrifying what the Mongols done as well. In wartime, war isn't to obey no one's laws, it's to only follow its own laws. I agree, but still, man, it's absolutely crazy, Rudy. I know that's what happens, but imagine you're just one of the people having to deal with a situation that's sort of been played out in front of you. You're the one who gets told you got to run up like those dead bodies. Like, imagine long.
Briefly resisted before being convinced to surrender by Subutai. With their guards dropped, most of the Rus were slaughtered and their leaders smothered under boards the Mongols feasted upon. Still, Subutai was in no position for further conquest. On the return journey in late 1223 or early 1224, Subutai's forces passed through the territory of the Volga Bulgars, where the Mongols were ambushed and many were killed. Subutai had to limp back to Mongolia. Often termed as the Great Raid, this is a modern extrapolation, and the contemporary sources present it as a failed conquest.
Yeah, so like it would have been a great feat if they actually only went there to raid, but they went to conquer, and they didn't get to do that, so they're having to flee.
The secret history of the Mongols simply describes the entire campaign as Subutai Ba'ata was put in a difficult situation by these peoples.
Okay.
Subutai knew he would need to return in overwhelming force to complete the conquest. At that time, Genghis was preparing for the final campaign against the Tangut, but told Subutai to visit his parents, who he had not seen in a decade. Subutai simply responded, "If the emperor will be busy working and the vassal will be at rest, my heart will be in deep uneasiness."
So he didn't go and see his family.
The conquest of Tangut in 1226, cutting off the western half of their kingdom and sacking numerous counties along the Tangut-Jin frontier in Gansu, ensuring no aid would come from that direction. It was here that he learned of his master's death in August 1227.
This is when he got the letter.
Genghis' death must have crushed Subutai, for he was the single most influential person in his life. Attending the coronation of Genghis' son Ogadai as Khan in 1229, Subutai was rewarded with an imperial princess as a wife. Ogadai quickly resumed the war with the Jin dynasty.
Okay.
An army commanded by Dokuku was defeated at Dachangyuan in the beginning of 1230, and Ogadai led an army against the Jin, accompanied by Tolui and Subutai. With the Jin dynasty's northern border protected by the Yellow River, and its southern by the neutral Song, access was through the mountains guarding Henan province's west, a route blocked by the formidable Tongguan fort. Not desiring to be stuck in a long siege, Ogadai sent Subutai to find a route through the hills to the south. Subutai forced a smaller pass.
I think I remember that
in western Henan until his forces
as well
spread out, and the Jin general Chen He-sheng cornered and defeated him at Daohui-gu.
What a shame.
Losses of
That's two big losses that he suffered as well.
both men and horses, Subutai retreated to a furious Ogadai. The Khan was so enraged he removed Subutai from command, and nearly did Subutai disappear from history if Ogadai's brother Tolui did not vouch for him.
Wow, it was that much of a defeat that Ogadai was fuming and nearly just sent him back and put him to rest.
A new strategy was decided on. A triple-pronged attack against the Jin borders, wherein Tolui and Subutai were to bypass Tongguan entirely, cutting south through Song territory to come out behind Jin lines. In late 1231, they penetrated the Song frontiers. After a few weeks of plundering, they cut north into the Jin Empire. The lead Jin generals, Hua and Hada, skirmished with Tolui and Subutai in early 1231, when the Mongols were surrounded on Sanfeng Mountain. When a snowstorm blew over the armies, Subutai told Tolui to wait it out.
I didn't realise a snowstorm happened during that situation.
The hardy Mongols could endure it better than the Jin.
Because they were used to being on the steppe in the winter, due to the fact that you have obviously the cold winds from Siberia coming down through Mongolia. The northern winds were quite bad, so they were used to the drastic change in the weather, whereas the Jin not so much. So that's also interesting to think about as well.
For 3 days, deeming the Jin were suitably weakened, the Mongols charged down the hill and routed them. The captured general Hada asked for death, with his final wish to lay eyes on Subutai. Perplexed when he heard of this, Subutai came to see the captive Hada, telling him, "You will die momentarily. Why do you want to see me?"
Yeah,
to
why?
which Hada replied, "Each of us vassals work for our respective masters. You are braver than other generals, and by nature you are a hero. Could that all really be random chance? I have met you, and now I shall die in peace."
Oh, nice. His name was feared and remembered through other cultures as well. That is very impressive.
Up with Ogadai's army, Tolui and Ogadai returned north, leaving Subutai as supreme commander. The general immediately invested the Jin capital, Kaifeng. It took a year for the city to fall, in which time the Jin emperor escaped and many losses were inflicted on the Mongols. When Subutai alerted Ogadai to the city's final surrender in early 1233, he was prepared to carry out the standard practice of massacre for resisting.
Okay, but
Ogadai
what happened?
was convinced by his advisor, Yelu Chutsai, to spare the inhabitants. What followed is perhaps the most illustrative example of Subutai's personality. Subutai was ordered.
So, yeah, what did he do?
To just members of the Jin imperial family. He killed only who he needed to, and allowed the rest north of the Yellow River to organize food shipments for the beleaguered population.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Subutai's biographer in the Yuan Shi goes as far as to say the people appreciated him for his efforts. Subutai led the
Very nice, Subutai. Very nice.
final push against the Jin, ending their dynasty in 1234. Back in Mongolia by 1235, Subutai took part in the organization of the Great Western Campaign. He was the senior commander, alongside the leading princes of the third generations of Chinggisids under Batu. Over 1236, they swallowed up the Western
That they did.
From 1236,
Hey, the Mongols just absolutely tore through everywhere. Asia, Europe.
to 37, the Volga Bulgars, Kipchaks, and Mordvins were subjugated. The divided Rus principalities were quickly picked off.
Yeah,
and
there were
from
no chance.
1237 to 1240, the Rus cities were burned. Few cities lasted as long as 2 weeks, although Mongol losses were incurred.
Wait, fewer cities lasted longer than 2 weeks of sieging from the Mongols? What? That can't be right.
By the start of 1241, Subutai and Batu had brought the Mongol Empire to the edge of Europe, splitting their forces to take multiple routes through Poland, Hungary, and Transylvania. Subutai wanted to draw the Hungarian royal army onto ground of his choosing, forcing them to cross an exposed bridge over the Shayo River, where on the far bank the tree line would hide flanking Mongol forces. King Bela IV foiled this by not crossing the bridge.
Yeah, he wasn't going to fall for it.
To force the bridge, while Subutai tried to cross downriver and outflank the Hungarians. Either impatient or due to Subutai being behind the schedule, Batu charged the bridge too early, resulting in heavy losses and the Mongols being repulsed.
Oh, shame.
A new plan was used, overcoming the bridge guard early on April 11th with catapults. The Mongols soon encircled and destroyed the Hungarians. Despite the success, some Mongol princes were apprehensive of pressing on after the costly fighting. But Subutai shamed them for their cowardice, telling them, "If my lord wishes to retreat, then retreat by yourself. Until I reach Bacha city on the Danube River, I will never return."
No, he will not. Subutai's in it for the long haul, for sure. The Rus cities had wooden walls, that's why they only lasted 2 weeks. That makes sense. Thank you very much, DZ.
The loyal dog of Genghis Khan had to whip his grandchildren into shape.
Mm.
They pressed onwards, pushing as far as Austria, until the Mongol withdrawal began at the end of March 1242. Finding their catapults and siege techniques ineffective against stout stone fortifications, Batu and Subutai decided to step back and re-strategize. The withdrawal from Hungary was methodical, campaigning as they went to reduce whoever survived the first
Nice,
march.
very smart.
Subutai stayed with Batu up to the Volga River, where in late 1243 the latter set his permanent encampment. Subutai scolded Batu for refusing to attend the Kurultai in Mongolia to elect Ogadai's successor. But before departing, Subutai and Batu came to peace regarding the losses at the Battle of Mongol.
Okay.
At the time, Batu gave thanks to Subutai, attributing to him their successes. Subutai was in Mongolia by 1246 to meet the new Khan of Khans, Ogadai's son Guyuk. By then, Subutai was one of the few left who had personally known Genghis Khan.
I see.
John Karpini, present at Guyuk's enthronement, mentions the elderly Subutai, a figure of immense respect among the Mongols. Later that year, Subutai went on his final campaign, a brief
So he backed Ogadai's son then, at least.
incursion against the Song dynasty. Guyuk's death in early 1248 ended this campaign prematurely, and Subutai returned to Mongolia to finally retire from military service. He died later that year, somewhere along the Tula River, aged 73.
What
His
a great
most famous
man.
of all Mongolian generals, was one of the few to die of old age. His sons continued.
Literally made it until old age as well. Didn't die in battle, didn't get assassinated, didn't overstep his power, overstep his reach. He was loyal to multiple generations of leaders. What a great man. What some great feats as well.
Commanders, with the most well-known being Uriyankadai, who served Kublai Khan in China and occupied Tanglong, modern Hanoi, in Vietnam. Uriyankadai's son, Aju, was another of Kublai Khan's generals, but his descendants picked up the pen instead of the bow.
I
Aju's
see.
son, Uriyankadai, was an administrator well known for his leniency, while his own son, Tongtong, was a scholar and academic. After him, the lineage of Subutai disappears from the sources.
Oh, what a shame.
Utterly loyal to Genghis Khan, almost no other commander in history travelled so many kilometers or participated in so many battles.
He really did. He was one of Genghis's main dogs and went everywhere for him.
Depending on how one counts.
Oh, sorry, he served for 4 successors of Khans. Thank you very much for pointing that out for me, DZ. The last time we heard of Subutai's family and descendants was an accountant who worked for the Mongol Chinese kingdom 100 years after Subutai, and that is it. It's what a shame for a family line of this magnitude to be lost in history.
Subutai fought in over 50 battles and sieges against almost every major power of the 13th century, though despite some claims, he was not undefeated. Subutai had no care for administration or governance.
No, he did not.
In carrying out the Khan's will against his enemies. A man made for war, Subutai played a key role in the establishment of history's largest contiguous land empire. We will
And
talk
cemented
about Mongol history.
And he definitely cemented his name in history for being that loyal person indeed. What another great episode and a great reaction. I'm thoroughly enjoying these ones. What did you guys think of it?